All right, so as I said earlier, I am going to need some brown sugar for the cake, one of the cakes. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape all of this out because I want to make sure that I'm getting everything mixed up good. And this is my brown sugar that I had before. Sometimes that molasses will settle, and I just want to make sure that I get it mixed up good. All right. Let's do a whole cup here of sugar. I'm making my own brown sugar. I'd much rather make my own because then I can control how dark or light it is. And I just have regular molasses. This recipe actually calls for light brown sugar, so I'm not going to put a whole lot in it. This apron is so cute, I don't want to mess it up. I do need to get my blocks of cream cheese out. Sometimes it's better just to put it in a food processor, and then you don't get those big huge clumps that can last forever. So I may do that. I'm kind of in a hurry, so I'm going to get my Ninja because it's not wanting to break up those clumps. It's probably because I put the leftovers from the bottom of the jar. Come on. So my Ninja is pretty fierce. We do have to be careful though, because if we pulverize it too much, we'll have powdered brown sugar. There's a thought. I just wanted to make sure we were good. All right. We just got all those little clumps that I want to get through. Alright, so come check this out. Full up on that light brown sugar. Not very many little clumps left. It's perfect. Alright, so I'm also going to be needing 2 cups of shredded carrots, and I want the smaller. Nah, yeah, probably the smaller carrots. Shredded or grated? Let's do the bigger ones. I feel like that's gonna. All right. My good friend Megan bought me this thing because she got tired of me saying, I would shred this cheese, but I don't have a shredder. I have found that if I prop it a little, it helps the stuff fall out a little bit better. We're going to start shredding these carrots. Oh, where did the... Uh-oh, I'm missing a piece. Ah. That's the I don't know where this goes tray. Okay. All right. Don't know if that's 2 cups. Looks like 2 cups to me, so we're going to go with it. I'm going to take this out. Let's go ahead and put this on. And I know I need to melt 1.5 sticks of butter. 3 sticks of butter, so let's go ahead and grab a whole new box. I've got some butter out on the table that's already room temperature, but it's not what I need for this recipe. So this recipe calls for oil. I'd much rather use butter. So I'm going to go ahead and get that melted. I'm just kind of trying to get all my prep stuff done, and then that way whenever I get to the point of actually making the cake, I can just pour in all of my ingredients. One. 2. 3. So, in the recipe that I had copied said 1 cup of butter and 3/4 of a cup of applesauce. I don't have applesauce, so I'm going to use 1.5 cups of butter. All right, I don't have a microwave, so I have to do that on the stove, so that's why I'm doing that over there. All right, so like I said, it calls for 3/4 of a cup of applesauce. So I'm just doing a 1/2 cup more of butter and 1 extra egg to give it that moisture and give it the fat that it's wanting. All right, so what we're going to start with, this is the carrot cake. We're going to start with, this is a different recipe than I'm used to using. This is a recipe that I just found online. I can't find my recipe, so it must still be packed. But I found it online and I'm substituting. So 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1.5 cups of light brown sugar, and that's the light brown sugar we just made. I'm going to start mixing that together and add in my 1.5 cups of melted butter. Nice and slow and steady there. Okay. I think I think that's lowered too low. Let me raise that up a little bit. Let me use my flat screwdriver here.
I don't know where this flat screwdriver at.
Right there. Oh, I know, because you got a whole new set, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
All right. Beautiful. All right, so while that is doing its thing, I'm going to take 5 room temperature large eggs, and I am breaking these into a bowl before I put them in there, one at a time. Let's lower that down just a little bit. These are farm fresh eggs, so I do break them into a bowl before I put them in my batter, just to be on the safe side. All right. Now we are going to go ahead and add in our teaspoon of vanilla, and this will conclude our all of our liquid ingredients. So let's go ahead and do a teaspoon of our used Lazy Days Ahead sticker. So let's turn that down just a little bit. You just calm yourself a little there. We don't want those eggs to get too fluffy, because then our cake will be airy instead of dense moist, right? So what is that, 1 teaspoon? Some of your cakes, you want them to be light and airy, like your pumpkin rolls and your angel food cakes. But when you're making a fruit cake, like carrot cake or apple cake, you want it to be dense and moist, right? Not light and airy. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to start mixing all of our dry ingredients together. But first, Rusty went to town and picked me up some pecans. You guys, we don't have a Walmart close to us, so we have to make do with, we have a Homeland, but sometimes that place can get a little expensive since it is the only grocery store in our town. So we have a Dollar General. He found pecan halves at Dollar General, which is awesome. I just need to chop them up. We want 2 cups of chopped pecans. These are pecan halves. But it's okay because we have a chopper. And honestly, your pecan halves from Dollar General, you get some halves in there. 1, 2. I know some people use walnuts, and that's perfectly okay. Walnuts and I do not get along. For whatever reason, I think it's just the oils in the walnut or whatever, but it tears up my mouth like blisters in my mouth. So I don't know, like the roof of my mouth gets really raw and it's just not pretty. So I use pecans in place of walnuts, and that's in anything that I'm going to put that asks for nuts, like chopped nuts. Pecans work the best for me. Now, okay, beautiful chopped pecans. Okay, and again, this is something I'm just going to set aside. I wanted it done, so then that way, whenever I was ready for it, I would have it. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 300 degrees because I am going to want to toast those pecans, so then that way it kind of brings that flavor out. Okay, so this is done. I'm going to go ahead and start putting the, let me move back a little. I'm going to put together the dry ingredients. Now we can sift it or we can just put it in. I'm just going to put it in and whisk it. Nobody has time for sifting. Okay, we don't have time for sifting today. Okay, 2.5 cups of flour. And this is just all-purpose flour. Nothing fancy. One. Two. I don't know where my half cup went. So we'll use this 1/4 cup. Ooh, it's going to get hot in here because of that oven for sure. So 2.5 cups of flour. Whisk that. Then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Let's dry off my spoon here. Hi, look at you. Look, oh, and we're matching even. There's the dad.
Dad's shirt.
Yes.
Cody got that for me last year.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yes, yes. Happy Father's Day to all you dads. And Mom's pulling double duty as dads.
Yes, the mama's pulling double duty. All right, so 2 teaspoons. I do like Clabber Girl, but I'll use just about anything. Okay, as long as it rises, we're good. And then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Can also be listed as soda in your recipes, right? Okay, and then we're going to go half of a teaspoon of salt. So, little bit of salt. And then we're going to go 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you like cinnamon, go a little heavy. If you don't really like cinnamon, I mean, leave it out. Add only half of what it says. This is the cool part. You can make this your own, like, as far as the flavors go. Fundamentally, when you're making a cake, you want to have the right dry ingredient to wet ingredient ratio, but as far as the flavors go, just make it happen, right? Teaspoon of ginger. See, I don't remember my other cake having quite all of these, like all of the pumpkin spice stuff, but we're going to try this one. And then 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now, used to, I would go less than that because I don't really like nutmeg, but I don't know. I've acquired a taste for it. I do not know what's happening here, but it's like I don't mind it as much, I guess. And then 1/4 teaspoon of the ground cloves. And then I'm going to whisk those together. We don't have time for sifting. Really sifting, you're just adding air into the flour. So if you're whisking it, you're kind of doing the same thing, right? Okay. So now I want to take my stoneware. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing over here on this side. And lay my pecans flat. I might have got carried away with the piecing of him. All right, so my oven's ready. I'm going to throw those in on a 300-degree oven for about 10 minutes. Well, just like everything else, keep an eye on it. If it smells like it's starting to burn or something, or just look, and it might not be 10 minutes. It might be less than that, is what I'm saying. Okay, so now let me find where's my shield? I like it because I can add flour in slowly. Oh, right here in the, I don't know where this goes bin. Do you know we had one of those? Yeah, it's the, I don't know where this goes, so we're putting it here. Yeah. Let's use a ladle. We're going to go. Let's go crazy here. Okay, let's go ahead and start adding this in. This is my flour. And we're adding it in just a little at a time. You can really smell the cloves. Smells good. All right, let's use a spatula. Let's scrape the sides. Tastes like carrot cake. All right, so now I'm going to let that, I'm going to change out that whisk for the paddle because I don't want my carrots to get all stuck on there like crazy, because then it's really hard to get it out of the whisk. All right. We're going to have to take a clean break here in a minute and wash all those dishes because I'm going to need a lot of this stuff for the next cake. All right. Now then, this recipe that I got online does not call for raisins, but Rusty and I really like raisins in our carrot cake. Raisins are not everybody's cup of tea. It is ours. Now, there's an old Mexican remedy, not that this is a big thing anymore because nobody gets chickenpox anymore because everybody gets the vaccine. But my great aunt told me once that when they were kids, they ate raisins. That was like a remedy for the chickenpox. They wouldn't be so bad. They would go away. And also, she said she ate raisins like crazy, and all of her brothers and sisters got chickenpox, and she did not. So, I don't know how much truth there is to any of that, validity, anything, but that's a good thing to, I mean, you know, think about, like the old remedies. I probably put about maybe 3/4 of a cup in there of raisins. Now I'm going to go ahead, this is going to get really full, guys. I'm going to go ahead and add the 2 cups-ish of carrots because I didn't measure, but it looked like 2 cups to me. Now this is going to be a very dense cake, so it is going to take a while to bake. But this is why you make carrot cakes in layers. You put them in the smaller round cake pans, and then you layer it. Plus you get the cream cheese in the middle, so we are going to layer it. And you know what? I do this every time. I didn't get my pans ready. It's fine. I'll get the pans ready right before I pour the batter in. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm going to check on these pecans because, man, that 10 minutes is taking forever. I mean, they're good enough. We are going to go ahead and add our pecans. Whew. Roasting your pecans just brings that flavor out a little bit better. Now let's use our spatula again. See, with the paddle, you don't have to worry about the picking all of that stuff out of the whisk. It's just stuck on the paddle, not. All right. Well, while I'm getting my pans ready, I'm going to go ahead and raise the temperature on the oven to 350 degrees. All right. So we're going to take 2 9-inch round pans. So we're just going to take some shortening. I just use a bag as a glove, and then make sure that you get all of the little creases and all around the sides, and then on both of your pans. Okay. And then take some flour. And you make sure all of the edges get coated. Coated. Get rid of the excess. All right. Try to get them even. And these won't rise tremendously because they are a very dense cake. It smells amazing. And you can actually weigh these too and make sure that your layers are as even as possible. Or you can scoop them out. I started to scoop them out and, you know, count out how many scoops you put in each one. But honestly, just eyeball it. I mean, you can. Boop, into the oven. All right, I'm going to take a break so that I can clean and get ready for the next thing. All right, so we're back. We're still on crunch time. I actually had to stop and grab something to eat because, man, I was starving. I didn't realize I hadn't eaten all day. So now we're going to make the icing for these cakes when they come out. So we're going to start with 2 blocks of cream cheese because we want, well, I guess just one. Yeah, 2 because they're 8 ounces each. We want 16 ounces of cream cheese. So these are room temperature. They've been sitting out. For a hot minute. I saw a video the other day on TikTok. I think it was on TikTok or on Facebook. And they were making their own cream cheese, and I am so intrigued. Check these cakes real quick. They weren't quite there yet a while ago, so let's do another. All right. Then we're going to do a whole, these have been sitting out since last night. Okay. We're doing a whole stick of butter.
Megan just texted.
Yeah.
She's loading up, stopping to get ice, and head this way.
Okay, sounds good.
Yay, be careful. See ya.
Yes. All right. We're going to cream this butter and cream cheese together, both at room temperature. So it's half a cup of butter. Then, once that's creamed together really well, we'll start adding in our powdered sugar, and we're going to do 4 cups of powdered sugar. We want to add it in a little at a time. That's 1. Half the time I lose count. I start going and then completely lose count. There's 2. There's 3. Woo. And there's the 4th cup. Okay? And we're going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. We got this good 1.5. Well, there's Amos. Our people are starting to arrive. All right, so these have actually been in there about 45 minutes. But my knife is coming out clean. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them. And we're going to let those cool. completely. So I need them to cool quickly. So what I'm probably going to do is put them on a cooling rack. So, but I did get the icing made, and we're going to set that aside. These should just slide right out of the pan. Let's go around the edges with the butter knife, and they should pop right out just like that. Whew, those are hot. But I do need them to cool quickly. So we want to get as much air around them as possible. Now I may not ice these until after supper, and you know, here's the cool thing about everybody that's coming here. They know I'm a procrastinator. And everybody chills while I'm doing whatever. And I don't just sit well. I do better when I have something to do, and you know, everybody can sit around. I can talk to them, kind of like I do with you guys. This icing is bomb. I love cream cheese icing. Awesome. All right, so there is a video of the homemade pecan coconut frosting for German chocolate cake. So if you want to watch that, I'll link it below. So I'm not going to do that one again, right? But I am making that, and I am going to make a German chocolate cake. Somebody asked if I had a recipe for German chocolate cake. I literally make it out of the box, but I do change some things up so that it's a little bit better than just a box cake. So I'll kind of show you guys what I do different to make it just kind of elevate the flavor of a box cake. So on the box, it's going to ask for half a cup of vegetable oil. I have a live audience. If you hear the laughing live studio audience, 2 of my kids are here just cracking up. But anyway, it's all right. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, round of applause. You need to applaud. All right. So here's how I elevate this. It calls for half a cup of oil. I use a half a cup of melted butter instead of oil. It calls for a cup of water, and I use a cup of milk. Probably Megan. Oh, is it? All right. Then it calls for 3 large eggs, and I use 4. So I just add an extra egg in. 1. They are farm fresh eggs, so we do break them in a bowl first. 2. 3. And 4. These are room temperature eggs as well. The only thing cold is the milk, and you can warm that up if you want to. Warmer ingredients in a chocolate mix will elevate the flavor of the chocolate. And then I always add just a little bit of vanilla, and this is the real vanilla, the real deal. So about a teaspoon. And I did it again, you guys.
What is it?
Did not get my pan ready. Sorry, Desi.
You're okay.
And the cool thing about a German chocolate cake is that you don't have to take it out of the pan to frost it. You can, but I just leave it in the pan, put that coconut pecan frosting on it, and call it good. So I'm going to get this pan ready, and then we will put it all in. All right, so I have my pan ready, and I have it all poured in there. It smells amazing. And then I'm just going to throw that in. And I will set my timer for whatever it says on the box. Let's see, 28 to 33 minutes. So I'm going to go about 33 because my oven runs cooler than I usually have to leave things a little bit longer. Anyway, I'm going to cut it here because I'll come back when I'm making charro beans, and that might actually be on the next video because there's been a lot on this one. Oh, and then I've got to frost the cakes. So I'm going to call it here and for a little while.
They'll fail you, and I'm like,
all right, it's not pretty frosted, but it's frosted and it's done, you guys. And then we have the pecan coconut frosting for the German chocolate. All right, guys, it's the next day, but I did want to show you how well this frosting sets up and how incredibly moist that cake is. So that's just how incredibly moist that cake is. That's just a regular box cake, but adding an extra egg, using butter instead of oil, yeah, and milk instead of water. And I would show you the carrot cake, but it's gone. And this is all that's left of this. So anyway, it's the next day. I'm surprised any of that cake is left, and I have a ton to clean up, but I hope you guys like our videos. If you do, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends, leave us some comments. I didn't get to make the charro beans on video because I already had a lot of people here by the time I started making the charro beans, but I will catch that on another video for you guys. So anyway, until next time, you guys, God bless.
I think I might have seen it.
Say wella.
Say wella.
Wella.
Yeah.
You want to sit with me?
Is that wella?
What's it?